When we're considering FAPE in Mariana's case, there are a couple of really good resources in your Blackboard folder and in these slides for you to look at this week. Stop and think about everything I talked about on the last several slides in the 3 videos, the summary of the case, who's at the table in the case, and the existing laws, the FAPE laws, that 2-part test with Andrew and Rowley. Let's talk about what should happen now. How do we make sure Mariana receives FAPE and what should be done? So the first most obvious thing, and especially if you're using this as one of your assignments, the best answer is reconvene the IEP and take a look at it. Again, I'm going to check my notes. You need to make sure that we probably make a plan and then announce a new IEP and take a hard look at that substantive stuff. And if it is individualized, meeting her unique needs, and clearly, specifically here, you need to recalculate Mariana's goals. When you turn in case study assignments, if you say review the IEP, I need a little more detail. What are we going to look at in the IEP? In this case, we're going to review her goals. We can go right to the Bailey and Weingarten article, which is linked on your slide in blue. It's called Strategies for Setting High Quality Academic Individualized Education Program Goals. And I specifically went straight to page 5. And there's a really great resource there that I haven't really talked about yet that talked about national norms for rate of improvement. They refer to it throughout the article then as an ROI. And it really specifically talks about using baseline data, which we don't yet have, so that's step number 2, to triangulate what Mariana is able to do now in reading, what she should be able to do, and where we're going with that. So we need to recalculate Mariana's goals in her IEP. That's one idea of what needs to happen. And the second thing that should happen before that is we need more data. We need to make sure we've got progress monitoring data, up-to-date assessment, that we've conducted the assessments we need to conduct. We move to our second article for this week. That's the Yell and Bateman article that I had you read called Defining Educational Benefit. That's uploaded in Blackboard for you. I'm manipulating to that now. Sorry about that. And if you go straight to page 289, 289 at the very top, there's a chart that summarizes 8 implications of the Rowley and Andrew rulings for teachers and administrators. The first one is kind of a no-brainer. The second one asks that parents are meaningfully involved, which I think we have here. But steps 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 read like a list of what we need to do for Mariana. Number 3, conduct assessments that are relevant, meaningful, and address all of the students' needs. Number 4, what we just talked about, develop IEP goals. In this case, we need to recalculate the IEP goals and use that other resource to find some different ways to make sure that her IEP goals are addressing what they need to address. Number 5, provide the special education programming based on that so that the goals are reasonably calculable and Mariana can get there. Number 6, progress monitor. Number 7, make instructional changes when data indicates that a student is not progressing. That's probably the biggest red flag in this case, and especially what needs to be done for Mariana. And you can see here how a federal case study law, Rowley and Andrew, boils down into what happens in a teacher's classroom through the IEP, through the meetings of the IEP team, through the assessment, and down into what happens in a classroom for a student's unique educational needs. Number 8 is also applicable. Be able to justify that a student's IEP will enable Mariana to accomplish her goals, to make forward progress in reading. We made a lot of assumptions about what might be happening at Mariana's school. You can go ahead and make assumptions about that. We don't really have enough data in a shorter case study, but we know that we can apply this 2-part law, the recommendations from the article linked on this slide, and the at least 6, if not all of the 8 steps recommended by the article I had you read this week. It gives a really great outline of exactly what needs to be done now to make sure that Mariana is receiving FAPE in her school.